a key role open, you've probably asked this question. Do we promote someone from within or do we hire someone from the outside? And it's not a simple decision because promoting from within can be a great move. You already know the person, they know the company, they understand the culture, they know the team, the systems, the expectations, and the history. But there's a lot of value in that. But hiring externally can also be the right move. Sometimes the role needs experience your team doesn't currently have. Sometimes the business needs a fresh perspective. Sometimes the situation requires someone who has already solved that kind of problem somewhere else. So the question is not which one is better. The better question is, what does the company need right now? That's what I want to talk about today. I'm Renee Fry, and this is Building Your High-Performing Team, where we help you hire smarter, reduce turnover, and drive business results so you can finally sleep at night. Today, we're talking about how to decide whether to promote from within or hire externally without defaulting to habit, loyalty, fear, or urgency. Because when someone resigns, it's natural to move quickly into backfill mode. Someone left, so we need to replace them. But that's not the best first question. A resignation gives you a chance to pause and reset. Before you backfill the headcount, ask, does the company still need this role in the same way? Has the business changed? Has the team changed? Has the workload shifted? Are there responsibilities that should be redistributed? Is this still one full-time role or has the need evolved? Sometimes the answer is yes, we do need to backfill it. But sometimes the answer is the business has been functioning fine without it. Or the role needs to be restructured, or perhaps the work should move to a different seat, or the company needs a different level of person than the one who just left. That's why a resignation should not automatically trigger a replacement. It should trigger an evaluation, because the goal is not to recreate the exact same seat just because it existed before. The goal is to ask what the company needs now. Once you know the company still needs the role, then the next question becomes, should we promote from within or should we hire externally? And a lot of companies have a natural reflex. Some companies are very loyal to internal talent. They want to reward people who have been committed to the organization. So when a role opens up, their first instinct is, who can we promote? Other companies lean towards the outside experience. They want someone who has done the job before, seen different environments, can bring in new ideas and a fresh perspective. Neither approach is wrong. The issue is when the approach becomes automatic. Sometimes promoting from within is exactly the right decision. Sometimes it puts a good person into a role they're not ready for. And sometimes hiring externally gives the business the leadership, the pace, and experience that it needs. And sometimes it creates unnecessary disruption because the right person was already inside the company. That is why this needs to be a decision, not a reflex. So when a key role opens, the first question to ask is, what does the company need now and over the next 12 to 18 months? Not what did the role used to need? Not who's been here the longest, not who wants the opportunity, not who would be upset if they didn't get it. What does the company need from this seat now? And that one question changes the conversation. If the role is mostly about continuity, culture, internal relationships, and expanding responsibility, promoting from within might make a lot of sense. If you already have someone who understands the business, has trust with the team, shows strong judgment, and has been operating close to that next level, that person might be ready. But if the role now requires something the organization does not currently have, that's different. Maybe the company is growing quickly. Maybe the operation is under pressure. Maybe there are performance issues that needed to be addressed. Maybe the team needs stronger accountability. Maybe the role requires leading managers, fixing systems, handling complexity, or making decisions at a level your internal person has not been exposed to yet. That doesn't mean the internal person isn't talented. It means the company needs to be clear about whether the person is truly prepared for that seat. And this is where companies need to be honest about whether the person has already been developed for the role for that next step. In some organizations, internal promotion is very intentional. They identify high potential people early, they expose them to next level projects, they are growing and expanding their skills, they let them lead projects, cover for their managers, make decisions, sit in meetings, handle conflict, and experience the weight of the role before the title ever changes. And in that situation, the promotion may not be a huge leap. It may simply be the company formally recognizing the work the person has already been doing. That's very different than from promoting someone because they've been loyal, well-liked, or successful in their current role. So the question is not, does every internal promotion come with a big learning curve? The better question is, has this person already been operating close to this level at the role this requires? Have they been prepared for it? Have they had the exposure to the pressure, decisions, people issues, and the business expectations that come with that seat? And if the answer is yes, promoting from within may be a very strong decision. If the answer is no, then you need to decide whether the company has the time, the structure, and support to help them grow into it. This is where companies sometimes get stuck. They confuse loyalty with readiness. They say, she's been here for years, she deserves a chance. And fair, maybe she does, but that's not the only question. The question is she ready for what the company needs now? Because there's a big difference between being excellent in your current role and being ready for the next one. And I saw this earlier in my career when I worked inside large corporate recruiting organization at Target Corporation. There was an executive recruiter who was a really strong individual contributor. They knew how to recruit. They were an expert. They understood the business inside and out. They had credibility. On paper, it made sense to promote them into a leadership role managing a team. But once they were in that seat, it became clear that being a strong recruiter and a strong people leader were not the same thing. The skills that made them successful as an individual contributor did not automatically translate into managing, coaching, developing, and holding a team accountable. And eventually, they were moved back into their previous executive recruiter role. And I remember thinking, that is such an important lesson. A promotion is not just your reward for doing your current job well. It has to be based on whether the person is truly ready for that next level. Because when you promote someone into the wrong seat, it doesn't just impact the business. It can impact that person's confidence, their credibility, and their career path too. That's why you need evidence, not affection, not tenure, not everyone likes them. Being liked is valuable, but it's not the same as being ready. And the person may be loyal and hardworking and respected, but still not prepared for the scope of that next role. So before promoting from within, ask, what proof do we have that this person can succeed at the next level? Have they already been doing parts of the role today? Have they led people well? Have they handled pressure, situations with pressure? Have they made good decisions without needing direction? Have they earned trust? Have they shown the ability to think beyond their current seat? Have they solved problems that are similar to the problems this new role will own? What support will they need? What gaps are we comfortable developing? What gaps are too risky for this role right now? Those are all fair questions. They don't mean that you're against the internal person. They mean you are taking the promotion seriously. Then the next question is, what does an external hire need to bring that we don't already have? This is just as important. Sometimes companies say, we need to go outside and hire externally, but they're not clear on why. They want fresh energy, they want change, they want someone new, but that's really vague. If you're going to hire externally, be clear about what you need that person to bring. Is it experience scaling an operation? Is it stronger leadership capability? Is it experience in a different market? Is it discipline around process and accountability? Is it the ability to lead through change? Is it higher level strategic thinking? Is it experience managing managers? Is it the ability to walk into a challenging situation and create order quickly? Name it, because if you can't name what the external person needs to bring, you might not need to go outside. You might just be reacting to discomfort inside the organization. On the other hand, if you can clearly say, we need someone who has already led through this kind of growth, or we need someone who has turned around this type of operation, or we need someone who has built the level of structure that we are missing, then hiring externally may be the right call. But this is where I think companies sometimes underestimate the external hire. They assume if we bring someone in from the outside who has already done this before, they can just step in and run. But that's rarely how it works. No one from the outside walks in on day one and knocks it out of the park without support. Even a very strong external hire still has to learn your company, learn your culture, learn your people, learn your systems, your expectations, your politics, your pace, the way of operating. They have to build trust. They have to understand what's been tried before. They have to figure out where the real issues are versus what people say the issues are. They have to learn who the informal leaders are. They have to understand what can change quickly and what might need time. So if the reason you're going outside is because you don't think your internal team has the capacity to train and coach someone, be careful. Because hiring externally may create more lift than promoting someone who already knows the business. With an internal promotion, the lift may be coaching them into the next level. With an external hire, the lift is onboarding them into the entire company. And sometimes that external experience is worth it. Sometimes the company truly needs a capability that doesn't exist inside the business today. But don't assume outside means easier. Don't assume external means plug and play. A strong external hire still needs structure, clarity, access, support, and time to become effective. So the question to ask is, which option requires no lift? Both require lift. The better question is, which lift is the company better prepared to carry right now? Are we better prepared to develop someone who already knows the company? Or are we better prepared to onboard someone who has the experience but doesn't know us yet? That's a much better way to think about the decision. The next question is, are we promoting from within because it's right or it feels easier? Promoting from within can feel a lot easier. You don't have to launch a recruiting search. You don't have to convince someone new to join your company. You don't have to go through dozens and hundreds of resumes and interviews. You don't have to explain the company from scratch. You don't have to wonder whether they're a culture fit. There's comfort in choosing someone you already know. But comfort is not the same as confidence. And this is where leaders have to be careful. Do not promote someone just because they're familiar. Do not promote someone just because the team likes them. Do not promote someone just because they've been patient. Do not promote someone because you are afraid they will leave. And do not promote someone because the external search feels more challenging and difficult. A promotion should be a real hell yes, not a peacekeeping move, not a reward for tenure alone, not a consolidation prize because the external search is stalled. If the internal person is ready, promote them with confidence. If they're not ready, be honest about that. You can still invest in them. You can still develop them. You can still create a path for them. But putting them into the wrong role too soon doesn't serve them or the business. And the next question is, are we hiring externally because the role truly requires it, or because we have not fully evaluated our internal talent? That's the other side I see where companies make some mistakes. Some companies overlook great people inside their own walls. They assume the external candidate will do better because they come from another company, or they have a polished resume, or they've held the title before. Title does not guarantee fit. Experience does not guarantee judgment. An outside hire still has to learn your business, your people, your culture, your systems, and your expectations. And that comes with risk. So before hiring externally, take a clear look inside. Who has potential? Who has already been operating above their current level? Who do people trust? Who solves problems without creating chaos? Who's ready for some more responsibility? Who could step up with the right support? If someone internally is truly ready, don't overlook them just because they're already there. Familiarity can sometimes make people undervalue what's right in front of them. Then you should ask, what does the situation call for? This is where job titles can be misleading. Two people can have the exact same title and bring very different strengths. One operations leader might be great at fixing a messy environment. Another one might be great at scaling and growing business. And another might be great at stabilizing a team and maintaining consistency. And another might be great at leading through change. Same titles, different strengths, different situations. So don't make the decision only around the title. Make it around the situation. Find out, are we trying to stabilize? Are we trying to grow? Are we trying to fix performance? Are we trying to change direction? Are we trying to add structure? Are we trying to protect what's already working? And once you know what the situation requires, it becomes much easier to decide whether the best person is already inside the company or whether you need to look externally. If the company needs trust, continuity, internal knowledge, a steady hand, promoting from within might be the answer. If the company needs a different skill set, different experience level, or leadership muscle that doesn't exist inside the business, hiring externally might be the answer. The key is to be honest about what the company needs, not what feels easiest, not what feels loyal, not what feels the fastest, what the company needs. Here's the simplest way to think about it. Promote from within when you have someone with real capability, clear evidence, and the preparation to step into the seat successfully. Promote from within when the company can support the person through any remaining gaps. Promote from within when the role needs continuity, culture, trust, and someone who already understands how the business works. Hire externally when the company needs experience, perspective, or leadership capability that does not currently exist inside the business. Hire externally when the situation requires someone who has already solved this type of problem. Hire externally when the timeline doesn't allow for a long development runway. And sometimes the right answer is just to pause. Sometimes the issue is not whether to promote or hire externally. Sometimes the role itself is not clear. The responsibilities need to be reworked. Sometimes the structure is wrong. Companies evolve. Sometimes the person you think you need is really a sign of a bigger organizational issue. That is why this decision deserves more than a quick reaction, because promoting the wrong person is expensive, and hiring the wrong external candidate is expensive, and rushing the decision because the seat is open can cost you even more. So if you're facing this decision right now, I want you to ask yourself, does the company still need this seat? Does the role need to be backfilled, restructured, redistributed, or redefined? What does the company need now and over the next foreseeable 12 to 18 months? Do we have someone internally who can meet that need with the right support? Has that person already been operating close to that level? Does the role require experience we don't currently have? Are we choosing the internal person because they're ready or because they're familiar? Are we going to go outside because we truly need outside capability, or because we haven't fully evaluated our internal team? Which lift is the company better prepared to carry right now? Developing someone who already knows the company, or onboarding someone who has the experience but doesn't know the company yet? That's how you make a decision on purpose. And I'll be direct with you. Even though we're a recruiting firm, sometimes the right answer is to promote your own people. And when that is the right move, you don't need us. And we'll tell you that, because the companies we want to work with are the ones who trust us to give them the real answer. Even when that answer is, don't hire anyone, promote the person you already have. But when the company needs experience, new perspective, leadership capability that it doesn't currently have inside their business, that's when hiring externally becomes the right decision. So if you take one thing from this episode, it's this: promote from within or hire externally is not a rule. It's a decision. Promote when you have the talent, the evidence, and the preparation. Hire externally when the company needs greater capability, different experience, or change that can't be developed quickly through inside the organization. And no matter which direction you choose, be honest about the lift because the goal is not to choose the easiest option. The goal is to choose the option the company is best prepared to support. I'm Renee Fry, and this has been Building Your High Performing Team from the recruiters who know your business at Talent Q. When your team is dialed in, that's when leadership feels effortless. Cheers for now, and I'll see you in the next one.